customs and cultures teach different values and priorities. Normally, this means that interracial or multicultural couples have a unique need to bend, flex, compromise, and accommodate one another's contrasting ways of looking at life. The underlying factor that leads to many broken relationships or marriages includes trust, beliefs, expectations, and so on. However, on your program today, we want to take another look at the role of culture in relationships and marriages as we discuss intercultural marriage. Don't go away. I will be right back. Back, viewers, and if you haven't yet done so, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and that is STO Global Concept. So it is time to introduce my guests on today's episode as we discuss intercultural marriage. And with me are David and Amanda Fatimains. How are you guys doing?
Very well, thank you.
I love this, Amanda.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Where did you get it from?
My husband brought it back for me from Nigeria.
Wow, it's actually suits you so perfectly.
Thank you.
Wow. And how do you feel in it?
Oh, I love it. So comfortable.
Great. Thank you very much. So, David, I'm actually going to start from you today. And can we get to know you more? And I'm talking about a bit of your background and when you came to Canada.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I was born in a godly family, and I was the last of the 6 children. And my dad just passed away, blessed to his memory. We grew up in a very happy home, a God-fearing family. I'm the 3rd generation Christian in that home, and my early childhood was a very lovely one. I was so grateful for my parents for that purpose. I went to Igbobi College in Lagos. And then after that, I went to higher station at the Federal Polytechnic. There later went to Lagos State University, LASU, where I did my mathematics and statistics.
Wow.
And then I worked with a government corporation, Nigerian Reinsurance Corporation, before I moved to Canada in 2007.
Oh, wow.
February 2007.
Okay.
I actually came to Canada 2007. It was a winter time, and like everybody that experienced winter for the first time, you're a little bit happy to see it. But when it hits you, it feels like, okay, this is winter. And then that's how my journey in Canada started.
Okay.
Getting to Canada, as every new immigrant, you have to look for something to start with. I started with, I thought I could continue my profession as an insurance
person, yeah.
But I went to, the opportunity there wasn't as open as what we have now. And I have to look for another opportunity while I'm in school. I went to Red River College to do project management, and while doing that, I started as an healthcare head, and I took the course, and then I worked there. I love the job because it's about meeting people. I have that passion to have impact in people's life, especially the elderly. While I was doing that job, I developed the interest for it, and it took me a while to get out of it. Even though I finished my program in Red River College, I'm doing the job as a part-time. I got involved in a lot of things. After my finishing in Red River College, I started an organization with a friend. It's a business. We call it FRAME, Functional Residence for Artists and Media Enterprise, where we had a building, about 40,000 square foot in downtown Exchange District, and we have over 50 different artists in the building, where we manage to do different programs from art exhibition, performance art. We do a lot of events there. And I was doing that. It was a it was my baby and a friend, Travis Cook, and the business ran for 7 years. But due to some government regulation, we have to shut it down. But what happened there, we created a culture that nobody have ever created in the art industry. A place where you can have all various of artists, from performers, visual, electronics art, the various form of them to come together and collaborate.
Wow.
We started the First Friday, which is a culture in the Exchange district, the district up to now. And after that, I was still doing my healthcare job because it's a passion and a ministry to me there. And then, yeah, I think that talks a lot about me.
Okay, yeah, sure. And now the next thing is actually that, how did you meet Amanda?
Okay, in that process, yeah, that's a good question, how I met Amanda. She's an amazing woman.
Yeah.
I think she's the best thing that ever come to my life. I always tell people the story. How did I meet Amanda? I think it's a God ordained. Yeah. I'm a very traditional person. I love my culture. I love my people. I never imagined I'm going to marry into another culture. But you know, the Bible says God's plans is not our plan, and His purpose is not our purpose. I think I was in relationship with someone in Nigeria, planning to go there and do introduction, but something wasn't feeling good, and praying about it, and the more I prayed about it, I found that God is saying, you know what, that's not the way for you. Then I sought God, and while seeking God, a friend of mine, blessed his memory, just told me that, you know what, God said you're going to meet somebody close to you. Wow. We did a prayer and fasting. And then I go to a church, a white church. I was the only black there.
Oh, wow.
And we do pray, and in the prayer, someone prophesied about that, you know what, your plan to Nigeria, I don't think God have a plan for you. Then I was on Faithful Day, I was coming back from Winners to buy some. I just moved to a new apartment to buy some in Tensu. And getting down from the bus, I just met this beautiful lady going. As an African man, we're so attracted to something, the back end. I'm attracted to the back end, the Bakassi, right? And the back end just strike me and say, wow, this is the person. And I just stopped. You know, apart from the back, in relationship, something is so important. What you're attracted to, right? Yes. And I just wow, this is, and I stopped by. To be honest, I wanted to share a gospel with her.
Yes, you did.
And
well, you're still sharing the gospel.
Then we stopped. I stopped and I talked to her. I said, my name is David. To be honest, I'm a good Christian boy. I just want to know who you are. And she said, oh, today's a laundry day. I said, okay, maybe I should join you through the laundry. Okay. Then I got a number. I forgot about it. And I have a friend, actually, mine's just to meet her because she's so attractive and beautiful. That's what stopped me, and the back end, as I said.
That back end, man.
And then I forgot about it. And I have a friend that's is actually like a Canadian girl. And he was telling me about how he broke up with his girlfriend. He whines on me. I said, you know what? I don't like all this whining. It's just a girl, right? But I met one girl yesterday. Maybe I should just give her a call. I even forget about her. And I said, okay, let me just find a way I called him and I said, what are you doing tonight or in 2 days? He said, oh, maybe we should go and have a coffee together. Then we went there, we started talking. But you're talking to someone, and I went there for an interview for my friend. And you now feel like you're talking to her and somebody's telling you that, you know what, I think you want to pawn your wife to someone else. And then we started talking, but something actually changed my mind that she's the one. And I asked her, where were you born? She said, I was born in the Yukon. And something just lighted in my brain, Yukon. When I was 8 years old, I went to see a Santa in Nigeria, in All Saints Church, Yaba. And the Santa then, I asked him, sat on his lap many years ago. I said, where were you from? He said, Yukon. I said, can I marry your daughter?
Oh.
And my plan was if I marry a Santa daughter, I was a very, I was something else when I was a kid then. If I marry a Santa daughter, I won't be able to come back every year to get a gift. We live in the same house, I'll get the gift, you know. As a kid, the 8-year-olds are corny kids. And then the Santa said to me that one day you marry my daughter, forgot. And when I asked her, where are you from? Said, the Yukon. I said, do you know Santa? He said, yes, he's my father. I said, can I marry you now? We started. And that's how the conversation started. Wow. And that's how I met. It's a unique way.
Yeah.
And then the friend of mine that was he called me the next day, said, you know what, I felt the Lord say you've met the person. I said, oh, how do you know I met someone yesterday? He said, God told. And I would say it's God ordained.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my story is about.
Yes, I actually, you know, I know this part of the Bible that says our ways are not God's ways. So what we plan is actually not what God has in stock for us. And he directs us, you know, to that thing. We may not even know. But in the end, by the time you're thinking about it, you just be like, oh, no wonder this happened.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to you, Amanda.
Sure.
Can you share a little bit about yourself with us?
Certainly.
Your early life and how you met David.
So I was born and raised in the Yukon to a godly family who loves and serves the Lord even up to today. Second generation Christians. And great, wonderful, very simple childhood, a very small community of 800 people, no black people. I, since I was 3 years old, knew I would marry an African.
Wow.
And I assumed I would go somewhere in some village, live in some hut, and barefoot and dirty or whatnot. You know, our perspectives are so all from World Vision. And then I would find my husband on the mission field there. So every year at Christmas, I would draw pictures of my family, of my husband who's black, my children who are brown, and me who is white. And my parents thought, where is she going to meet a black person up here in the Yukon? There are more there now, but at the time when I grew up, we didn't know anybody. So, yeah, we moved to Winnipeg when I was 14, and I went to Red River College for nursing. I have my bachelor's of nursing. And when I met David, it was just around the time when I was graduating from my nursing degree.
All right. Okay. So why did you choose to marry a man from a different cultural background?
You know, I think God just put that on my heart from a very young age. I was always attracted to black men.
But sorry, I'm going to cut you short. But when you were growing up, there wasn't any black man around.
No.
So how come that?
I don't know. You know what? It's a mystery to me. I never dated anybody white. I never was attracted to anybody white. I've always loved culture, and I've always loved ethnic cultures, multi-ethnic cultures. My friends are all from multi-different ethnicities, and I gravitated to that.
Okay. So, David, a little bit outside the marriage discussions, I know you're a very active community builder, a member and vice president communications on the ABC Manitoba. Can we know a little about this side of your personality?
You know, I grew up in a home that my parents always tell us that you need to be involved. It's part of your life. Life is boring if it's just yourself and your family. You have to give out to them. And we see that from my parents. My both parents are active. My dad was active until his death. I was chairman of a church builders. My mom is still active. And when I came to where I find myself, I always put myself out there to be of help. I've been a member of Intercultural from the start. I was the secretary for many years, then later became the vice president. Then I've been into other organizations like the Creative Foundation that Mr. Isa Akimbolaji was one of the founders, Promised Land Ministry. I've been to even some other Canadian or non-profit organization. I've been actually there. And my personal life, like I said, I work with the healthcare job. Then I'm a project manager. I do that as a freelancer.
Okay.
And I just started a new job as a new business development with Golden West Corporation. I see myself an active person, and then in all these things, what really matters to me most is family. With all this, there's a balance there.
Yes.
Family is the number one. No matter if it's a family time, I don't joke with it.
Okay.
And it's a big thing for me.
Very important. Yeah. So Amanda, looking at this man as that community man,
Yes.
how do you cope with his several involvements? Are you also into what he is into?
Not nearly to the level that he is. He is a very busy man. I'm very supportive. It was a shock for me because my family was much more lower key, and he's very extroverted. And so, which is wonderful because it's a great balance for us. But many times he's at meetings after meetings after meetings and seeing somebody and going to something. And so for me, it has been a shock in some ways, but also an adaptation. And it's all about communication. Like,
yes.
oh, what meeting are you going to now? And what thing are you going to? And do I need to be there? Or are you okay on your own? And
Yeah, so how do you cope?
yeah. Like anything else, you just have to learn to roll with the punches and have your phone charged. So if you're bored, you can be on your phone, and if not, then you can be a part of it, right?
Okay.
We want to be a couple that presents like they are as a
Okay.
couple.
All right. Thank you very much. So before I lose focus on our discussion for today, so David, what informed the decision? I know you met Amanda and all those stories. So what informed the decision to marry Amanda?
Like I said earlier, it's a divine decision for me. Like the friend of mine that said he's very gifted spiritually and very specific about his prophecy, right? And I grew up in a family of faith, and he told me that, okay, when I met Amanda, he said, that's the woman. And he even told me the size of his shoe.
Oh.
Said the same shoe with your sister.
Wow.
I said, oh, okay, this is really specific. Then the day I told my dad.
I was actually about asking that.
I grew up in a home where my parents are very open.
Yeah.
Growing up, sometimes in our home, my parents would bring people, stranger into our home and said they will live with us for now, regardless of, and we grew up in Lagos, in Shomolu, Yaba area, where you have the Igbo, we have Bini in
So
our house, we
people.
have, for us, we were brought up to mix with people. And when I told my dad joked, he said, oh, he's a very light complexion. They used to call him Babo Yibo. And I said, that word you call him, Machufe Yibo. My dad just joked about it. He said, show family, I'm with Danny. Then my mom, she was forced. And she said, are you sure?
Yeah.
And she was fighting with my dad. We share a bomb or something. And my dad said, we got all of our pieces, what God provided for him. And then my mom said, okay, he's going to pray about it. Then our mom was still alive. She was 100 years old at that time. And she's very prophetic also. And she asked her mom. Her mom said, that's what God called. That's what God
the plan of God,
for. And that gives my mom that relief. And then, the way God works everything very well is this. I always say everything looks kind of like a plan. There are two things that actually make it more easier for me. My sister is here, Eunice, and Tiemi. The day I went, I told her about Amanda, and she was very excited to meet her.
Yeah.
And then the day I went to the house with Amanda, my sister said, Amanda, what do you come here to do? And Amanda said, I said, do you know her?
Wow.
Yeah.
Said this my classmates in Red River College.
Yeah.
I used to say one day I'll bring my brother to come and marry you. It's like God has already planned it, and everything works. And the day I met Amanda's parents, I remember that day very well. It's still ringing in my head very well. That the mom came to me. First day, she was a very bold woman, and I like her because we have the same personalities, a straight shooter. And she said to me, David, you're the one. You're not going anywhere.
Wow.
And the dad told her that if you don't marry that guy, let him be a friend in this house.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think all those things bring that confirmation for me, and I still enjoy that love from them. And yeah, I think that's those decisions are the main decision making for me. Yeah. And even that, my friend, I told him, say, "Oh, this girl is too good for me."
And Amanda, when you communicated this decision to your family, how did they take it?
Yeah, so the day after we had our first date, we were having a family day at our house. We have a lot of family days. We spend the day, no technology, we just play board games today and spend quality family time together, which is hugely important in our family. And they're like, invite David to come. So I said, okay. So I invited him to come, and they fell in love with him instantly. And right away they knew. He was the first guy I really brought home, and they all fell in love with him and said, for sure, he's going to be the one you're going to marry. So
Wow. So viewers, we're quickly going to go on a short break, and I will be right back. Don't go away.
Hello there, I am Buki Sholanke of Maximum Realty, your favorite real estate agent. With almost 15 years as a real estate professional, starting from United Kingdom and in Canada to being a licensed realtor here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, I am passionate in helping people make the right decision when it's time for them to purchase their dream homes and in selling their properties. I walk with you every step of the way, throughout all the process, to ensure that you do not fail. The professionalism, personal touch, and genuine empathy that I employ in getting the job done are what set me apart and also help build strong bond with all my clients, which makes them to always come back, as well as refer their friends and families to me. Call me today on 204-997-6117 to schedule an appointment, and I am all yours. Buki Sholanke, your trusted family realtor.
So you're welcome back from that short break, and I hope you're having a good time, just as I am, with the Fatimays. And today we are discussing intercultural marriage. And before I went on that commercial break, David and Amanda have really exposed us to so much about how they met and how they have been enjoying a wonderful time together. So you're welcome back.
thank you.
All right. So I'm going to ask this, and let me start from Amanda. Family orientation refers to the family in which a person is raised. I know you guys are raised by wonderful families and blessed with wonderful children, and that's Abigail, Jonathan, and Nathan. So how has it been raising these children, particularly given your different cultural orientation? So that's the first question, is the part A.
So I knew when I married David that I was marrying a culture and I was marrying a family, and I really embraced that, and I love the Nigerian culture. I love the family, I love the community, I love the language, the food, everything. So it was an easy adaptation to try and implement that into our family, into our children. The foundation is the Lord, always has been and always will be. And so with Jesus Christ as our center, that's how we together raise our children. To love the Lord, to serve the Lord, to care for other people. In our discipline, in our correction, and in our daily lives with them, they know their place. They know how to greet people. They know how to be respectful and helpful. And that's where we really strive to focus on.
Okay, thank you, Amanda. And David, do you teach them your local language? Do you have a local language?
You mean
You know,
Yoruba? I'm a Yahoo now, so yes.
Okay, so what I mean is, okay, you lived in Yukon. Is that
English?
It's just English.
It's
so
English,
this
yeah.
question now goes to David. So do you teach them your local language, our local language, and are they able to speak?
Yeah, I teach them. I speak to them in my language.
And they understand?
They understand the command. They understand the discipline.
Yeah.
And they actually enroll in this Okin Yoruba school. They were there, but they didn't go this year because of some of the logistic. But they went throughout last year. They understand. They can count 1 to 20 in Yoruba. They know command in Yoruba. They greet people in Yoruba. And I teach them because it's my heritage. I teach them my language.
Okay, all right, okay. And that's going to take me to the next question, and is about this. So, dressing habits tend to differ from place to place, all right? And as every culture has its unique clothing styles attributed to it, which reflects the beliefs, customs, values, arts of individuals and groups of people. So, Amanda, how have you evolved over time with the African style of dressing?
So when I first started, it was kind of like I was the doll that I was dressed up as to the nines with the gele, which does not stay on a white person's hair at all, and the ashoke and the whole attire. And over time, I think I've just gotten more comfortable in myself of what style makes sense for me, being Canadian and Yoruba, Nigerian wife, right?
Okay.
So the trends have also changed and styles have changed, so they're a lot more translatable through different, I guess, seasons and cultures and stuff. But I love to dress up in the Nigerian attire.
So David, how were you able to achieve that?
In marriage, it's all about communication.
Yes.
And it's about you. I was open about my culture. I'm proud about it. Not about imposing. It's about how able to accept it because of and portray it in a way that is more presentable and like the way she will really like it. I never say, oh, you have to wear this. No, it's not about that. It's about I to look at what do you think about this style, and she fall in love with it.
Yeah. And to fit in too,
and
right?
to fit in. And I think I have a sister that actually, like she said about she was in the doll, right? My sister has a lot. And like for me, I'll tell my wife, we don't need to buy, just go to Eunice.
Yeah, it's
I was
very
about
true.
mentioning her
Go
name.
shop at her house.
Just go to Eunice. And Eunice is she's my sister, she's 10 years older than me.
Wow.
And she always, we're very close. And she, from the beginning, she took a mind and she dressed out.
Yeah.
And I think with the area of the fashion, my sister have more influence
On her.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
And
Okay.
I think I'll say that.
Okay, because I was about asking, you feel comfortable wearing, or you're just wearing to satisfy David?
I guess it depends on if it's a full-on lace. For me, it's really scratchy. Like it's not super comfortable all the time. But I've learned to ask for when they're cutting styles for me. I pick the style I want. Eunice helps me pick that. And then to decide and design ourselves of what I would like to wear, what I will wear continually.
Okay, all right. So thank you very, very much for telling us about that. And so people from different cultural backgrounds eat different foods. So we're going to that part now. And the areas in which families live and where their ancestors originated influence food likes and dislikes. So for David, an Ekiti man, I know they can eat pounded yam in the dream. That's what I know about them. They love pounded yam like crazy. And Amanda, how have you coped and how are you coping in this aspect of your marriage?
Right. So I love all types of ethnic foods, and that was never an issue for me. I think one of the very first things you fed me was cow feet. And
we call it bokoto.
Bokoto, yeah. And I loved it. I was like, what is this? I don't know what it is, but I've always been an adventurous eater. And so pounded yam is probably one of our favorites, one of my favorites. Yours would probably be semo. or something like that. But I prefer pounded yam. So we eat a lot of Nigerian food in our
And
house.
do you make them yourself, or David does
Oh,
that
I make
for
it.
you?
I make it.
Oh.
I make all of it.
Okay,
yeah.
can you tell me the foods you make, the African foods you make?
Oh, jollof rice,
Wow.
fried rice, stew, egusi, pounded yam,
Wow.
scotch egg, meat pie, anything that we want, we will make, right?
I think what really helped her, I'm so blessed. My wife
You
is a
are.
wonderful-
I can see that.
My father-in-law actually inspired her. My father-in-law can cook.
Yeah, it's very
He's a kind of, I think he was a cook or a chef, right?
No, and he just loves
He
loves
loves
to cook
and I
to
would
try
just see a
things.
food and he will replicate
He wants to try it.
He
Yeah.
will replicate it.
Mm.
He taste the food, he will tell you the ingredient there and he'll replicate it. And I think my wife got from that. And yeah, she's you know, I'll be honest, she even cooks jollof rice better than me. Even
Wow.
my mom, when
Yeah.
my parents came, I'll be honest with you that my wife actually was cooking for my parents, and they never say, "Oh, this is."
They never complain.
They never complain.
But I think it comes from a humble learning and adapting, right? Like I would ask Eunice, I would ask David, I would ask other people, how do you do this? How do you make it taste this way? What should I add? And even when your mom would be cooking it like in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm writing down the recipe as she's throwing and licking it and testing this, and she's trying to burn my hand with the stew. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for Canadians. You can't do that.
Okay.
So yeah, it's
All
part
right.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Did you want to say
I
something?
think she learned a lot. And I like she said, she was very humble about it. And sometimes I will eat from Eunice's house because she's a very good cook also. And my wife would cook, I said, it's not like that, you know, we should, but she was hungry, she go back to Eunice. I said, okay, how did you make it that way? And to be honest, I don't think I look forward to eat her food every day.
That's great.
She's amazing in that.
Yeah, and one thing that I've just noticed about Amanda, she's open and ready to learn.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very good one for you. And Amanda, have you ever been to Nigeria? Has he taken you to Nigeria?
I have been begging him for 13 years
So
to
what's
take
happening?
Don't say it. You didn't beg, no.
So we got married, we had kids right away. Then it became too expensive to take the children with us. And then, you know, life happens. We planned to. We were supposed to go during the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened. And then when David's dad passed, you know, I really wanted to be there. But again, with COVID and things, it was just not going to be a wise choice.
And
So,
they didn't give you visa.
and they didn't give me visa, which was really
Oh,
frustrating.
she actually needs a visa to go?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So, you know, by God's
But
grace,
they
we'll
gave her
go.
visa earlier.
They did the year before when we couldn't go at all, when there was no flights available.
Okay. It's all right. Thank you very much. And so before we end this program today, Amanda, what advice do you have for our youths planning to get married, like having a marriage like yours?
Well, the best thing is to have the Lord as the center of your life and to really pray, because marriage is not something that you want to jump into lightly. You want the blessing of your parents, and you need that community, because when things come up, when troubles come, or you need your community to support you. And it's very important that you both love the Lord and that you are open to listening to each other, listening to your family, your parents, and have good open communication with each other.
Okay, then probably I can just add for our youth of nowadays, maybe they need to understand that there is no perfect marriage.
There is definitely no perfect marriage.
And David, what advice do you have for us?
You know, advice I always say, like Amanda said, the Lord should be the center, and that should be the common goal, like someone of faith. And for men, for young boys, what I always say is that you have to be humble, because you're learning, and you have to put away yourself. It's not about yourself; it's about your family. Learn and live by example.
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way. And I think that's the main thing: the Lord and living by an example, and then ability to do more, to able to apologize when you're sorry. Don't feel like you know everything. Ready to learn every time.
Okay, let me just throw this before we close the program for today. What challenge have you both ever gone through? Maybe I should start from Amanda.
So one of the things I notice, culturally speaking, is that Nigerians are very forward in their very, very bold in their I don't want to say criticism, but maybe critiques or something. So
Okay.
as a Canadian, we tend to hush away about our weight or about our self-image. And Nigerians like to
Come boldly.
come
wanna
into the
brag.
room and look at me, right? And in some perspective. So that was a cultural shift for me, for when David would be maybe, oh, you shouldn't do that, or maybe you should do this. And I would be so hurt in a sense, taking it so personally, because we as Canadians wouldn't talk about weight, or we wouldn't talk about how we looked dressing. And so me adapting to know that he is meaning it only for my good
doesn't
and
mean
only
it
to support, and not in
negatively.
any way saying that I shouldn't leave the house because I don't look good. He's just meaning it in the best way, so I'm presenting myself forward in my best light. And then for him to learn that he needs to say things more gently so that I'm
Like
not
a
so hurt.
gentleman,
Right?
not like that African man.
Why are you wearing that? Why you can't go out
That's
like
the way
that?
African
right?
men talk.
I was like, what do you mean? What's wrong with what I'm wearing?
And
So-
David, how have you been able to cope with what Amanda just said now?
You know what? I think, like she said, like the African culture is about black and white, and with Canadian culture, you have to learn a little bit of tweaking what you say. And I think I learned that.
Say it gently.
Not only with her, because I learned about, because I work with all the people. I remember working with one artist one day, and she wanted to rent a space. I said, can I see your work? And she said, oh, I said, after a few days I examined, I said, I don't think you're a good artist. And she came back, she was so hurtful, and I said, I'm honest. But 5 years later, this girl came to me and said, David, you're the one of the few people that was so honest to me.
Wow.
Everybody. But after that, she was, everybody was mad. I was so cruel to her. That's who we are as an African man, straight shot. But I learned that. I think that's one thing that I learned to be more gentle with the way I
In the way you talk, especially to Canadians, because I learned that too, and I still tell my husband today, like, just be gentle. If my husband is writing a letter, he uses this bogus, heavy
you have to
English,
make
and
it
I know
simple.
we Africans do that a
Yeah.
lot
We have to
because
speak
we
simple.
learned English.
Yeah.
It is your language, but we learned it.
Yeah.
And when they were teaching us, I'm sure they used dictionary and using big English. So when my husband is writing, he writes heavy. I said, no,
Yeah.
you have to soften your
Soften-
language.
soften your
You have
blow.
to make it very soft.
Yeah.
Because the other party reading it may actually read the wrong meaning
Yes.
to what you are saying.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, guys. I really, really appreciate you coming for today. And I hope when next we, holler at you guys, you're still going to come over, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So now I'm going to bring the children after this break. Don't go away. So you're welcome back. Like I told you, I'm bringing the children on set, and now I have everybody. I have Abigail, I have Jonathan, and I also have Nathan. So I'm going to leave the parents to actually ask them questions, so that they don't feel somehow with me. All right. Can you take it away from me, Amanda?
Okay.
Okay, you go ahead.
Mo fẹ́ kí ẹ kí gbogbo ilé, greet ẹ kí wọn ní Yorùbá. Greet everybody in Yoruba.
Akason.
Ṣé àlàáfíà lẹ wà o?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Wow.
Okay. Kí ni ẹ fẹ́ sọ fún gbogbo èèyàn pé is there any Yoruba word that you really like that you want to share with people?
Okay, let's start with Jonathan.
I don't know.
Okay, what's Ori Yoruba?
Omi, actually.
Omi.
Yeah.
What's Omi?
Water.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Okay, if daddy is angry with you, what do you normally say to you?
Mad bad joy.
Yeah, it's like when we go out,
Yeah.
and if I want them to behave well in the mall, like every culture, you have to say, "Mad bad joy." They know the meaning of that.
And they know that command.
They know that command. It means that they have to street well. Yeah, having that language for them, it gives them that ability for us to actually discipline them and I think they love the language. Jonathan, what's your best Nigerian food?
I think Semo and Wado.
Yeah. And
Someone in Widow. Wow.
And Abigail, what's your best Nigerian food?
Jollof rice.
I think that was the best one.
Jelly fries.
we try to put everything together. He likes a lot of semo and we do okra.
Actually, I know. Dodo.
Dodo, yeah, dodo.
Yeah, we eat both, and Abigail can actually make Nigerian food.
Wow.
Yeah.
She can make our stew. She can make egg.
Wow.
Yeah, you make
Nigerian-
African egg a lot in the morning, right?
She's
Yeah.
very, and they're not only eating it. We let them cook it
Cook
also.
it by themselves.
We give she can tell us how to make the obe. It's stew. The ingredient. What do we put in there?
Tomatoes.
What?
What else is in the stew?
Meat.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Bell pepper, Robbie.
Yes, bell pepper.
And what?
Beef.
Yeah.
Yeah, bell pepper and
Hopefully.
Bell pepper.
Maggi. Yeah, we actually put them through how to make it. Like we can just sit down on the TV and say, Abigail, we are about our law attack, and she would know
And
what
she
to
would
put.
do it.
She would put it together, the bell pepper, the tomatoes. And
Wow.
yeah,
love this.
we try to let them know that even though they're Canadian, I know they're Canadian, but they should still enjoy the
African
food
culture
from
Yeah.
Africa.
African tradition.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abigail. Thank you very much, Jonathan. And thank you very much, Nathan.
Okay, you want to say Odabo to our viewer?
Alrighty. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, the Fatimays. We really love this today. And just to wrap everything up today, intercultural marriage have become commonplace in modern day society. Just like any other marriage, it surely does have its challenges. However, it is fun learning each other's cultural differences and appreciating the differences you have. A tremendous benefit of intercultural marriages is that you learn new skills. Just like Amanda can make African food now, languages, you see the children, all right? Way of life from your spouse, as your spouse exposes you to new things such as music, food, clothing, and so on. And you can as well travel and explore new places together. Intercultural marriage can really be a great fun and serious business. And this is where we shall be drawing the curtains on today's episode of your program, The Platform. Until I come your way again, continue to inspire and transform the world with love. I remain your host, Bumi Odonton. Bye.
Odabo.
Odabo.